We've got new Huskers to talk about here at the Voice of College Football. Welcome into Nebraska Cornhuskers live right here at the Voice of College Football every Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern and 6 o'clock Central. We got Greg Peterson, of course, the guy that makes it go each and every week from Husker Online to break things down for us. So leave those comments, questions in the chat. And Greg, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, we're good. We're good, but we're trying to. We're busy. That's for sure.
I hear you. Well, a couple commits coming in from the Under Armour All-American game with I was just looking at the numbers on one Ethan Nation. So he's the cornerback out of Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, they get two of them, 2 out of the 4 commit tonight. So that's a pretty good haul for Matt Rule.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Ethan Nation's a top 50, 45-50 cornerback, top 40-50 player out of Georgia. What's going on? Guys like 5'10", 170, his high school weight. So, of course, he's going to add some pounds. And have you scouted or seen either one of these guys?
I'm having internet problems here. I'm sorry.
Oh. No problem. I'll see what. So you can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't get anything else working. I don't know what's going on.
Husker Frank, appreciate you being here.
Bear with me here. Sorry.
Oh, we're good. James Allen, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Crypto King, Dion as well. Yes, never mind me. We broke our consecutive streak. You can blame me for that one. Had family situation there, so we did break the consecutive game streak. So that's on me. That one from last week. But we're here tonight for number 105.
Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, I just
I don't know why things are slow.
I was basically when we jumped on here reading up on Ethan Nation.
Yeah, Ethan Nation. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the numbers that I came up with from On3. Of course, he signs with Nebraska here, and then Cameron.
Yeah, Roswell,
Leonard.
Georgia. Yeah, he's out of Georgia. Corner. He didn't even get offered until December, 16th, I think it was, after he came on an official visit here. And, he was shocked that, after he was here, he really felt at home. And I can't blame anybody for, making that decision, because I live here and I call it home as well. But no, I mean, you're picking up, one of the top corners in the nation now. And, it goes to show you just how much Matt Rule has made an immediate impact with him and his staff. When he can pull guys like this in what, like, I don't know, 20 days or so. So something's working there right now. And then just a little bit ago, Cameron Linhart, the edge rusher that had already been a commit here under, the previous regime. And he came back and liked what he saw too. And so, boom, right here in one day, you get 2 Under Armour All-Americans, top guys, top 300 type players in the country to add to your recruiting class right now. And you're starting to push up there towards the top 25 in recruiting class in the nation. So, yeah, it's been a great day for Nebraska. Absolutely.
Well, with Linhart, I know Nebraska fans are waiting for that next explosive guy off the edge, and that's one of those prime positions: cornerback, edge rusher, left tackle, and you get one of those guys that can change a game for you. So it'll be fun to watch him because those. If he's a top 30 to 40 edge rusher in the country, then he must be quick and he must be a freak athlete.
And you got to remember too, he committed to Nebraska. He committed to Eric Shenander, you know, and you know we all know that Coach Shenander has moved on quite a while ago now, as it is now January in the new year. But um, it shows a lot for what Matt Rule can offer, um, and you know, obviously when a kid comes here, I don't care who he commits to, but when he comes here, he's already gotten used to what it's going to be like and what the culture, and he's already been impressed. And then obviously, when you lose the guy that recruited you, you can't blame a guy for uncommitting and you know reopen his recruitment and check out his options. But you know, in the end, he hit it off with Matt Rule and, and Matt Rule's staff, and he recommitted, and yeah, that's great. I mean, I I think Matt Rule's done just a yeoman's job here in a short amount of time, and you know the future looks bright right now with if this keeps going like it is.
Well, that's impressive, but what's also impressive is that the school, you know, he makes a connection and builds relationship with the former staff, Shenander in particular. Then there's turnover and change, but he's still, you know, there's enough of a love for whatever else is going on in Nebraska and just the campus, who knows what else involved with Nebraska that the commitment was had to be partially about that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you know, for people that aren't around here and privy to seeing what's being built there with the facilities, they're getting, you know, every day there's a lot more progress done on it. I mean, when it's all said and done, it's going to be, you know, the premier athletic complex pretty much in the nation. You know, so there's a lot to offer here, and especially with the academics on top of it too. That it's kind of hard to, you know, once you like being here and you know kind of get used to it, and you know they're building a future here, and Matt Rule is all about getting guys to the next level, and that really hits home to a lot of these recruits. And you know, like we've all seen already in a short amount of time that you know when Matt Rule takes the mic or talks to somebody in person, he wins over. I think probably 99.9% of the crowd or whoever he's talking to.
Linhart had some nice schools right in the mix, Michigan State, Penn State, Maryland in particular. Do we have a pretty good idea when that building's going to be open?
Oh, I'd have to look. I mean, it to me. I mean, it looks like it's getting closer and closer, but I don't think it will be ready for this season. Um, but it would be great if it is. I'd have to do some research on that.
All right, folks, appreciate you being here. Nebraska Live here at the Voice of College Football every Tuesday. Got Greg Peterson, as we always do. Without him, we don't have a show. So we appreciate Greg being here, as always, knocking things out. And you got basketball tonight. Have they tipped off?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my TV shut off. I don't know. It was 7-6 earlier when I looked at Michigan State.
Well,
probably like halfway through the first half already.
Two commits after the early signing period. So that's a good sign because a lot of those guys are gone already. So do we expect is there anybody else out there? Anyone else that that you're anticipating before February 5th or whatever the date is?
Well, you know, they just got their two big fish that they were looking for. So, I mean, right now with the way you're trying to build your roster and with the transfer portal right now, you can kind of throw darts at the board on who might be somebody else that joins the fray. But I don't want to really speculate on anything right now after these two commitments tonight because that really kind of changes things because when you add a guy like Cameron Linhart, you've now added four-star defensive line / edge rusher guys. So you can see where Matt Rule is building this team from already. So if I'm thinking what else is going to be added from transfer portal or from another high school recruit, maybe I think we're still looking at the offensive line. But you've pretty much a lot of you got a lot of these positions covered already if you look over the class and what they've picked up and yeah. But as we all know, I mean it's a free for all pretty much all year long with the transfer portal. Until that deadline hits when you're not eligible, to play. But we'll see. It's I just love what they've already done today and the foundation that they're laying here on the recruiting trail nationally. I think it sends a big message, not just to the Big Ten, but to the country that Matt Rule is not messing around and he's serious about getting Nebraska back into being able to play here on like an incredible weekend of football that we just witnessed this weekend. So.
Yeah, look at that college football playoff, Nebraska fans. It may be if TCU can do it, Nebraska certainly can.
Yeah,
it can be done. It can be done. It's not just a closed club. So there's TCU jumped up. Michigan State's been there. Washington's been there. Cincinnati's been there. So yeah, it is possible. It is possible. Do we know if Casey Thompson has already had his surgery?
Oh yeah, he already did. Yeah, he's already rehabbing, getting ready to go after it again. It is I don't know. How old is he now? Like 37?
Yeah, he and Aaron Rodgers are having off-season surgery,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, if nobody's got any questions, Greg, we know you've got a lot going on with these commits and with the basketball game tonight. If you need to get going.
Are we getting crickets out there or what? I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat. So
there's not a whole lot out there. And we needed to make sure we caught these two.
I see a lot of TCU comments.
Needed to make sure we hit those two. And thought I had seen something else that I wanted to hit on. No, it's all about those two commits. Former Nebraska wide receiver Xavier Betts has hit the transfer portal again. Or I guess maybe he just left the team and hit the transfer portal. I don't know exactly what the deal is, but that just happened here in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising too because I know he was in some trouble with the law as well. So I think he had to clear some stuff up, and that's why you haven't heard from him until now.
And now you would expect what? Marcus Washington's going to be the number one receiver next year.
Hey, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who does know? He's the number one guy as of right this second.
Yeah.
But,
hey, I mean, they've got a lot of guys, though, and it'll be a battle. And it's going to be fun here when spring ball starts for sure, and you can start seeing a little bit of what's going on the field. So, and you know what? It's only a couple 3 months away. So
So
you have that to look forward to.
here is always a dumb thing to do, but we do it because, we're in the media and fans love this kind of early projection stuff. 2023, our guy, Terrible Just Terrible, wants a record prediction. Now, just to keep you in line with who Nebraska plays this year, obviously everyone in division, with an interesting opening night at Minnesota on a Thursday night. That's going to be cool.
That'll be cool, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a Fox game. That sounds like a Fox primetime game. If
Hey,
it's a
you know
Thursday
what?
night.
Everybody too. When they announced that back, I don't know, they announced that about 3 months ago or something, and everybody that travels to those games, all the media people I'm talking about right now that travels to games in Minnesota, they were all just ecstatic that game was actually in the summertime.
Exactly.
I mean, they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't have to do that in December." I mean, not December, but late November
Yes.
or something. And yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be 18 degrees in Minnesota
Yeah.
in November. And it's also, instead of maybe being 93 degrees at home, it's going to be probably a comfortable, more like 75 or so. Probably.
Yeah.
Then a trip to Colorado to take on Coach Prime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a dynamic that was just added to that matchup that we hadn't thought about a month ago. So that will be, obviously, I think that's going to be probably a pretty highly anticipated game nationwide. For whatever the network conglomerate is covering the Big Ten now. So I don't know. Maybe that's the big noon Fox game. I have a sneaking suspicion, but we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be fun, though.
Yeah, with Colorado hosting that game, so it's a Pac-12 property. It's probably going to be a Fox deal.
And I mean, Nebraska fans travel to Boulder like crazy. I mean, they show up in force, and it's always I mean, that's been a rivalry game for how many years, and Nebraska fans just love going to Boulder because it's a really easy drive to get up there, and everybody that's there has a really good time the whole time they're there. I'll just put it that way. And that's before the game starts.
That's a pretty quick drive, right? It's not too bad, depending on where you are in Nebraska.
It's 7 hours of Denver, and
Okay.
another. You got to take a right,
Okay.
and another about an hour to Boulder, but very easy. And you can stay in Denver and just drive there on game day very easily. So
Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech aren't necessarily pushovers, but obviously Nebraska's got to win those two games at home.
Hey, you're getting ahead of all of us here. What do you mean they're going to win both of these games at home?
They should.
Well, yeah.
They got to win those two games.
So right now I've got them at 0-4?
Do you really?
Well, being realistic here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm kidding.
The non-division games, Michigan's coming back to town on September 30th. And Michigan State on the road November 4th, and Maryland in Nebraska on November 11th. So those are the non-division games. But after Louisiana Tech, it's Michigan and then a trip to Illinois.
Hey, you know what? With what I've seen from Matt Rule and the way he kind of operates and stuff, that I would fully expect him to do, obviously win more than 3 games, win more than 4. I give him like 6 games, maybe. Say 6-6. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Right?
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Nobody hold me to that. But
I mean, it's not going to be like a Tulane turnaround from winning 2 games one year and then ended up winning 12. Obviously, Nebraska can't do that because the numbers don't work out that way. But 6-6 sounds good to me.
6-6. That would be great. Get back to a bowl game.
Absolutely.
Get back to a bowl game.
Go somewhere cold and play a game outside before Christmas.
Colin just hopes Matt Rule dials up an onside kick against Minnesota if we're up by 2 scores. It's a tradition now. Okay.
No comment.
All right, folks. Well, we just wanted to take care of the news tonight and follow up on that. Greg, if you need to get going, we appreciate it.
I don't know. I can still stick around if I need to be a little bit, unless you run out of good stuff here or what. I don't know.
I need to start producing a show every week is what I need to start doing and have topics lined up. It's the off season. I need to get my act together and be ready to roll.
Yeah, and you're running out of recruiting stuff to talk about too. So
that's right. Transfer portal. I'll have to look at last year's shows and see what we talked about for an hour.
Well, like we were saying though, anyway earlier, what Nebraska was able to do just today really, I think, makes a statement because that's on national TV on ESPN, and there's only 4 guys committing during that Under Armour All-American game, and Nebraska got 2 of them. So that's a step in the right direction, obviously. And when you've been covering recruiting as long as I have, that's something that hadn't been happening since 2000, early 2000. Later 2008, 9, that kind of time. But very good to see what's going on right now. And like I said, I can't wait to see that product on the field when practice opens up, and the whole nation will finally get to see something there when the spring game happens here in April.
And a quarterback battle.
And a cool big quarterback battle, absolutely, with veterans. So yeah, that makes a big difference too.
Yes, Joel, I'm going to be surprised if this program doesn't improve, and I'm not going to be predicting championships and all of that, but Matt Rule has proven enough to me.
Yeah. The professionalism that he brings to it, that is what really impresses me. You can't stump him on a question. He's right there with you on anything you ask him. And he's just super confident in everything he says, and he backs up his claims. It's a pretty incredible thing when you think about the last cycle, last couple of cycles of coaches they've had in here that he makes you feel at home. He doesn't even know any of us yet. Like if you're in a press conference with him, he doesn't know people's names yet, maybe 1 or 2, but he treats everybody the same, and it's not coach speak that you get from him like a lot of the times that you get. He's very spot on with his answers to your questions, and he tells it like it is. I really like it. It's a breath of fresh air for sure.
Obviously, he made all sorts of hires on both sides of the ball to fill out his staff. Is there any other positions left?
I think it's pretty much a done deal. I mean, Bob Wagner was the guy that they just hired. He made that final. That was the Arlington Martin Texas high school head coach that actually was one of the head coaches last year in the Under Armour All American game. So, yeah, he's pretty much rounding out his staff now, and that's something we can look forward to here soon. That means that we'll have I think coming up here maybe in a week, we'll get a roundtable with all the new coaches, and we'll get to meet them all and grill them on their whole career, and we'll have all that. We'll have cameras on every table, and we'll get all that in its entirety, and everybody can see that on our site. So
It's been about 2 weeks since Malik Hornsby, the Arkansas quarterback / wide receiver, visited campus. And he at one point, I don't know if he put this on social media, that the Huskers were definitely in the running. And Hornsby's a guy that was a backup quarterback to KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, but also he's a dynamic athlete, so he can flip to wide receiver.
yeah,
And I got to think he would play wide receiver, and I just don't think that he would get involved in that quarterback mix.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, that would be a great addition there with an athlete at his caliber. Obviously, you would welcome him with open arms. He's already been able to show that he can play at that level, and that quarterback room right now, it looks to me like it's a battle between two guys that have played a heck of a lot of college football already. So
yeah, Malik Hornsby's only thrown 39 passes in his career, 27 this year, threw a touchdown pass, but he ran it 31 times at 5.5 yards per carry, caught some passes out of the backfield. So absolutely. Yeah, so we will have to wait and see.
yeah,
He's going to make a decision here pretty soon.
Sure.
And then we also have the NFL draft deadlines coming up on January 16th. Is there anybody else we have yet to hear from?
Not really. Nobody in, besides, obviously Garrett Nelson was the last one that declared for the draft, so which was a big loss. But I don't expect any others.
Okay.
I mean, Garrett Nelson too was the guy that I thought would never. I mean, he would play it all out, and it was very emotional for him. I think he took like a month or so to make up his mind, and like we've been talking about way back in this show when I was seeing him playing in high school. I told you that. I told you my comparisons about this kid back then, and my predictions about how successful he would be, and sure enough, he's going to declare for the NFL draft and forgo his senior year here at Nebraska. A guy that's been born and raised, bleeds Nebraska red, and was his dream to play here. And he's gonna make some NFL team very, very happy next year once they get him. Once they get him on the field, because they're going to find out exactly how special of a football player this guy is, and in my opinion, has the potential to end up as an NFL Hall of Famer someday.
Jose is asking about Tommy Hill. I can't imagine that he's going to declare for the draft.
These guys get their draft grades out, and Tommy Hill's draft grade is not very good. So, yeah, you're kind of grasping right now if you're a player like him, because you didn't really have much of an impact last year after transferring from Arizona State, and it's just not something that that's not what you want to have in your film as representing you if you're trying to get a job in the NFL. So, obviously he has a chance to increase that, with a big year next year on whatever side of the ball that they decide to put him at.
All right. Very good. We've got a question here coming in from Fong Wei. I don't know that I really get where he's going with this. Do you guys see Rule shuffling the roster around and getting some other position players to play on the offensive line?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's in play right now. They're gonna adjust things around that fits them the best at the needs that they have, and the skill sets of the guys that they have on the roster. Obviously, bringing in a recruiting class like they are right now, that they haven't been able to actually see what they have all together on the field at one time yet. But yeah, I mean that happens every year anyway. It depends on needs. I mean, injuries have a big role in that as well as you're going through spring ball and fall camp. But no, I mean Matt Rule is a guy that he is a very good evaluator of talent, and he knows what he wants to get. It doesn't matter what your star level is, and he's going to develop you. That's if he sees something in you, he's going to develop you. And if that does, if you came in as, say an offensive guard, and you're more suited to play tackle, you're probably going to, play center, you're probably going to get moved there. Or, if you come in as a defensive tackle or something, and they see something in you, maybe you're going to move over to the offensive line, probably play guard or something, and vice versa. So, yeah, it's obviously going to be a whole part of the evaluation going on here once spring ball starts up, and they can actually start doing real practices and have everybody together on the roster that's going to be moving forward.
I basically must have misconstrued what these guys were getting at in the chat about Tommy Hill and mixing that up with some other comments. Anyway, they are talking about Tommy Hill moving to corner or staying at wide receiver or going back to corner. Who knows?
I think I answered that. We don't know. I mean, whichever way Matt Rule and his staff thinks they want him to go, that's probably what side of the ball he's going to be on. I mean, obviously he played corner his whole career until he switched over to wide receiver halfway through the year. But, quite frankly, hadn't made a big impact either way. So.
All right, folks. We appreciate you being here.
Now he's going to probably punch me in the mouth next time he sees me.
Is that Tommy Hill or Matt Rule?
Tommy Hill.
Okay.
Matt Rule doesn't even know my name.
He will. He will, Greg. He will.
Yeah.
For sure.
We really haven't had a lot of, we had the signing day press conference with him and the, his introductory press conference and then a sidebar. So we've only had a chance to talk to him 3 times since he's been hired. Kind of hard to, get to know somebody in 3 brief encounters with a group of like 200 people around you too.
So we've got some questions about the new signees. So keep in mind, we've addressed those. So the new commits that came in the Under Armour All-American game, we got to those. So as soon as we're done with the show here, just watch what you missed and catch up with the conversation there. All right, Greg. Well, I think we are good to go.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Come on back next Tuesday. We typically do an hour, but we do whatever gets the job done. And we will be back here next Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Bring some friends with you. We'll talk Huskers football. Greg, appreciate you being here. Catch up with that basketball game.
I will do that right now. Thank you.